welcome back to Rue's Life. So here I am in the shed. I will be in the polytunnel later and I'm going to get some done on the plot as well. But what I want to talk about today is what seeds I'm sowing in May. Now it's a little later than I'd intended. I would normally like to put my what I'm sowing out at the beginning of the month, and then if any of you are following me, get any ideas, then obviously you've still got the month ahead to sow. But it's been such a peculiar couple of months that I am a little bit behind, but I'm sure everything will catch up eventually. So I'm going to talk you through the seeds that I'm going to sow this month, and it's pretty much getting everything in now. There'll be a few re-sowings of things that haven't done so well, and then some others that I'll be getting started. So I have moved a few bits and pieces around. I have put some things into beds or into larger pots, and then that's freed up pot space for me to start sowing more seeds. So I have a book and I keep a list of every month of what I could be sowing, and obviously I add to that because we're always learning, aren't we, or thinking of other things. But this is kind of my what I could sow book. And then in this notebook, this is where I make notes of what I'm doing, maybe what videos I might be making, what I'm doing with the garden. So I keep all that in this notebook. So this is now up to date with what I will actually be sowing May 2021. And what I've done is I've gone through my seeds, and into the tin I've put the seeds that I'm going to need for this month. So let's go through them. So I have got some peas. Now I have got some that I'd started in pots, and I've also got some that I'd direct sown underneath them as I planted them in, and they're actually coming quite well. However, the pigeons have had a little peck at them, so I'm just going to direct sow a few more in the same place, just so I've got a few more coming. And so I'm going to pop some peas in, and the varieties I've got are Terrain, Rondo and Onward. I'm going to sow some sweet corn. I did start some sweet corn. I put it out again, a combination of the weather and the birds, and none of them have survived. So I'm going to start some more sweet corn, and this is variety Swift. My brassicas, as those of you that follow will know, I had great success with the germination, and I had some really nice plants, and I put them out. I thought I'd got some netting on the way, and then the supplier of my netting let me down. Now I do have some netting now. So I have got a few of the purple sprouting broccoli and the kale plants that I hadn't put out. So I've still got those, and they're looking okay. They're in the polytunnel. The cauliflower and sprouts all copped it. I did manage to get some not brilliant specimens, I have to say, but I did manage to pick up 6 plug plants of cauliflower and sprout, not the varieties I was originally growing, but I've got those as like a backup plan, if you like, or rather I've got those as a replacement for the ones I lost. I've put them into pots in the polytunnel, and I will grow those on. So I will be re-sowing. These will be my backup. Some more all the year round cauliflower, some Brussels sprouts, Groninger, some kale, which is the dwarf green curled variety, and some purple sprouting broccoli. So I'm going to sow these. They are going to be later in the day, but I'm going to give them a chance because I am determined to get my brassicas going this year. Things I'm going to re-sow are my chives and my garlic chives. I did sow some, but I haven't had any germination on those. It was a little bit cold, I think, with the funny weather that we've been having. I'm going to sow some more basil. I have got some germination on that, but you can never have too much basil, especially when you've got a lot of tomatoes that you're hoping are going to come to fruition. So tomato and basil just makes sense, doesn't it? I'm going to sow some oregano because I love to cook with oregano. My coriander, it did really well, but I just I let it get too dry and I killed it. I should have moved it on. So I'm going to re-sow some coriander. My parsnips, the white gem have started to germinate, but the tender and true haven't, so I may resow a couple of rows of the tender and true parsnip. And then the rest that I'm going to be sowing are flower mix. So I've got a La Traviata, which is just a lovely, they actually describe it as a stunning natural firework display, and I have grown these before, and they are just lovely. They're just a lovely mix of gorgeous fiery colours. I've got some Tajit, again a lovely sort of orange and yellow mix, grown those before, really like them. I have got, this is just a shade mix, bright and dark corners, so they're just a pretty selection of flowers, so I'm going to get those sown and then find a place to put them, probably in a pot. I've got some pansies. I'm going to put some more sweet peas in. I have now put my sweet pea plants into the flower bed, but they were a little bit weedy and I only ended up with 5 actual plants, so I'm going to sow some more. I may just direct sow them, or I may start them in pots. Again, they'll catch up at some point. Again, another flower mix, and these are a perfume mix, and they're really lovely. Again, I've grown them before. I had them in the polytunnel last year in an old bucket, and they looked lovely and they smelt divine. Then I've got this Morning Glory, which is a climber. Haven't grown this before, but it says on the packet we've got dramatic, quick growing plants, and I could quite do with a little bit of drama and some quick growing. So let's give those a whirl. And then lastly, I've got some chamomile. I absolutely love chamomile. It's just great stuff, and it's good for making a chamomile tea. So it'll probably go in a pot or a basket somewhere, but that's the last that I'm going to be sowing. So that's what I'm going to be sowing this May. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, how you're getting on. What are you planning to sow this month? Have you already got everything going? Are you behind? Are you ahead? How are things with you? So drop me a comment below and let me know what you're sowing this month. And are you sowing any varieties the same as me, or are you doing anything different? Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.